there's a lot of news. Welcome back over to the Team 12's podcast. I'm Team 12's, and today I'm going to be talking about all the NFL news that's been going around the league right now. So let's start out with Deshaun Watson. So he is not found guilty, and that he, well, indict. I'm pretty sure that's the word. I'm not 100% sure what that word means, but it means that he can play in the NFL again, and that he will not be going to jail. So with this, it makes it so, yes, he can be traded. He will most likely be traded. I don't think it's extremely possible that it will be the Seahawks, but Pete Carroll has showed interest in him. Pete Carroll hasn't showed interest in him himself, but the team and the organization has. And Pete Carroll has said that, yeah, we're not really in a tanking mode right now or a rebuild mode. We see ourselves as a playoff team right now. So that kind of confuses me. Like, you trade Russell Wilson, but you think you have a playoff push and you could go somewhere with Drew Lock. I don't think that's a possibility. So I think they could potentially trade for a quarterback like Deshaun Watson. And I really hope they don't draft a quarterback in this draft class, because any of the quarterbacks last year would have been the best quarterback in this draft class. Out of Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, out of all those guys, they all would have been the best quarterback in this draft class by far. And any of next year's first round quarterbacks would be better prospects than all these quarterbacks in this first round this year. So overall, I hope we don't draft a QB in this draft. I kind of hope we don't trade for a quarterback, because I'm really interested in the rebuild. Because with Deshaun Watson, yes, I do think he's better than Russell Wilson right now. And he is 6 years younger than Russell Wilson, and you would be getting him for less draft capital than you traded Russell Wilson away for. So with Deshaun Watson, the reason he would be worth less is because of those legal allegations and those off-field issues that he is going through. So with that, he could be worth 2 first-round picks and a second throw in a player. So Shelby Harris and 2 first-rounders and a second. Okay, you're in the same boat you were when you had Russell, but you have an extra second-round pick, and you have a better version of Russell Wilson that did better with less than Russell Wilson did. So with Deshaun Watson, when he had that last amazing season last time he was in the NFL, he had more touchdowns than Russell. He had a worse offensive line than Russell. He had worse wide receivers than Russell, a worse running back than Russell, a worse defense than Russell, worse special teams than Russell. Everything about that team was worse than what Russell Wilson had. And Watson found a way to do better with that. So I think Watson is an intriguing possibility. Do I think it happens? No, I think he most likely goes to another team, say like the Eagles, the Dolphins, or the Giants, that have more draft capital in this draft with multiple first-round picks this year, rather than all we have to offer is our 9th overall pick this year that we got from the Broncos and a next year pick. So I don't think it's extremely possible, but it's definitely a possibility. On to a big trade that happened in the AFC, going to the AFC, is Khalil Mack. He is going to the AFC West, where Russell Wilson was traded to with the Broncos, and Khalil Mack is going to the Chargers. So Russell Wilson leaves the NFC West because he doesn't like getting hit so much, and he doesn't like Pete anymore. But now he's got Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack on the same defensive line. Derwin James in the safety group. So gonna be getting pressure quick. Gonna toss it up there. Derwin James gonna come down with an interception. Then you got the Chiefs. They got Frank Clark and Chris Jones. So Frank Clark, he knows what Russell don't like. Frank Clark, he's gonna tell Chris Jones, hey, Russell don't like this. Try and do this, and he's gonna get all flustered. And it's gonna be kind of funny seeing him go and leave the Seahawks and be like, yeah, I got the same situation when it comes to pass rushers again. So that's kind of funny to see. But Khalil Mack traded for the Bears got a second round pick and a 5th round pick. I think they probably should have gotten like a second round pick and maybe a 5th rounder or a 4th rounder, I think that would have been a much more fair trade. I think he probably should have been traded for a 2nd and a 4th or a really high 5th, but it was a 6th, so basically just a 2nd round pick that Khalil Mack got traded for. At this point, I don't know what the Bears organization is doing. They're building up their team for a young roster with Justin Fields, but the majority of the roster is old, but they have a young QB, or are they going to try and go for it? And I don't know. Bears are weird. They're kind of poverty and mediocre ever since they drafted Mitch Trubisky, except for that one year that they made it to the went against the Eagles, and then Cody Parkey did his thing. But Khalil Mack, I think this is a great trade for the Chargers. That division is absolutely stacked. Probably going to be the best division in football next year, with the Chiefs, with the Broncos not even being the best team in that, not even the second best team in that division potentially. With the Chargers, I've done comparisons in my head and like talked to my dad and stuff, where I compare all the positions, and Chargers went out with positions on which player is better at each position, and Chiefs easily beat out the Broncos on who's better at each position. So I don't even think the Broncos are the second best team in their division. So I think this is an amazing trade for the Chargers, and I think that they will be competing with the Chiefs to get that top seed in that division. So great trade by the Chargers. And with our next trade, we have Amari Cooper going to the Browns. This is a really weird trade where the Cowboys did it just to get rid of cap space, and the Browns, I don't know what they're even doing. Baker Mayfield, not that good. Unless they trade for like Deshaun Watson, or maybe even, I don't know, Tom Brady unretires and they trade for Tom Brady, but I don't see Tom Brady going to Cleveland and donning the brown and orange, which is a horrible color scheme. But besides that, they traded a 5th round pick and a 6th round pick just to get rid of the cap space with Amari Cooper, with CeeDee Lamb on the uprising, and you might pay Michael Gallup a little bit of money just so it's not just CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz. But it's a weird trade. Browns, I don't know what you're doing. You are not a contending team. And the Cowboys, you are just poverty, because you just go to the divisional round at best and you lose. So you are Seahawks 2.0, just worse. Other than that, on the next team, the Commanders. So with this horrifying organization that has John Snyder running it, you traded for Carson Wentz. Your betting odds didn't change to win the Super Bowl. When you traded for Wentz, you called every single team in the NFL for even the Chiefs for Patrick Mahomes, the Packers for Aaron Rodgers, the Seahawks for Russell Wilson. Every single team, all you could get was Carson Wentz. You traded a 2nd round pick in this year's draft and a next year conditional round pick, which will at the very highest be a really high 4th round pick. I don't know if they can go up to 3rd round picks. I think I've heard of like a really late 3rd round pick being in there before. So that is just a 4th round pick. You're not gonna find Tom Brady in the 6th round. I wonder if that happened in the past. But yeah, the Commanders, bad organization. Carson Wentz, he ain't MVP Carson Wentz 2017 when they won the Super Bowl. When Nick Foles got them that, he is sprained 2 ankles in one play, Carson Wentz. So yeah, it is what it is. So let's go on to the next topic. On to the final big news story. Tyler Lockett potentially being traded with these trade rumors. I think it's a possibility. It is widely dependent on if the Seahawks do trade for Deshaun Watson. If the Seahawks do trade for Deshaun Watson, you keep Tyler Lockett. If they don't, which I hope they don't, because I am interested in rebuilding and drafting in the future, even though I think Deshaun Watson is a younger, better version of Russell Wilson, has a higher peak potentially, and is reaching potentially his highest peak earlier in his career. So that might be a little bit of a bad thing. But when you have a top 2 quarterback season in the NFL, that's usually a quarterback's peak. But other than that, Tyler Lockett, if he does get traded, I want a mid-round 2nd round pick, or say a low 2nd and a high 3rd. Other than that, I don't want anything. He's going to be eating up, I think it's like $11 million in cap space if we do trade him. Then we're eating up 4 by cutting Bobby. Then we're eating up 28 from Russell being traded. That's piling up to that $38 million that Russell would have been That's the piling up to that 38 million that you would have been eating if you traded Russell last season. So I don't think they do trade Lockett, but I'd be very interested in it. I don't think we trade DK. We have 3 years of club control on him, and we can just tag him a couple years in a row because, well, he's one of the best in the NFL. And if you're tagging one of the best in the NFL, you're paying him the money he should be paid at without having to do bonuses and all that fun stuff. So DK is gonna be like, hey, I'll settle for the extension, and let's get this contract done so I can get my bonus money and get my family locked up for the future, you know? So yeah, I think that we don't trade Lockett, and I am upset about that, but I was asking for it last year, and I bet they wish they traded him last year. So yeah, other than that, if you did enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing. I won't say what I edit my videos with right now because I say that in my description, but I might be trying out a new editing software for this video, so I'll give credit to that app as well if I do end up using it. But other than that, I'll have a link in my description for our Discord, and have a good rest of your day.